Hi guys, before you go into the live vlog, we'd just like to take this time to promote a book called Tales from the Pitch, or a series of books. And I was contacted by Daisy from Ransom Publishers, and they said that they're an independent publisher who specialises in literacy and books for people who don't like or struggle with reading, and they mainly sell to schools, bookshops and prisons. And they published a series of easy-to-read, fictionalised biographies of exciting footballers, and they've called it Tales from the Pitch. Now, because it's mcfcfantv, she sent me 2 copies, and this is one of the editions, which is about Raheem Sterling. So these books, I think, are really important. I obviously believe, I love reading myself, and I think literacy is really important. The age range is between 7 and 14 years of age, but if you are an older person who struggles reading, they're perfect for people with dyslexia and other things that make people struggle to read as well. They're 120 pages long, and the recommended retail price is £6.99. Now, there is Van Dijk, Gnabry, Mbappe, Rashford, Kante and Lewandowski in the series alongside Raheem Sterling. So there are other different books, whether you don't have to be a supporter of Manchester City to read them. You can read the exciting biographies, fictionalised ones about other players as well. But Daisy kindly sent me 2 copies. What we're going to do is I'm going to read one of them, and then we're going to give both of them away and to somebody who deserves it. So please, 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 all the details will be below, and you can get in touch with Ransom Publishers and order your copy online. So we wanted to do something that would assist them in pushing and promoting this book. Anyway, hope you enjoy it, and we'll let you know more about when these brilliant ideas for books and for reading become available as a prize. But anyway, Sandy from mcfcfantv, take care, and we're over to the vlog.
Hi guys, Martin from mcfcfantv, and welcome to Wednesday evening, our big debate where we are going to talk all about the now, at the moment, failed big picture project. And we've got some guests on this evening. We've got Alan all the way from Melbourne.
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Martin?
Not too bad, mate. We've also got Oscar on from All Leeds TV. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm doing good. Looking forward to proper football being back now. After all this international football rubbish, back to the proper stuff.
It is. And also, and this is not the empty seat show, we're not giving him a big entrance, but Karl is joining us all the way from Washington. Hello, Karl. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Martin. It's really nice and warm here today. It's about 78 degrees, and it's really nice. I have one eye on the England game, too.
I've not even bothered. I've seen the result, and that was it. Oh, Alan's just gone. Don't know why. It's probably stuck in his washing machine, because it does sound like he's in one at the moment. What I'm going to do, guys, we're going to say a few hellos while we just let Alan just sort himself out. And then we're going to get straight into it. I'll go through a little bit of an introduction to it all. And then I'll get into your ideas. And, guys, I've got a feeling, as Andy said last night, this could get a bit lively. This could get a bit tasty. But we're all friends. Don't worry. If we all agree or we disagree, it doesn't matter. Yes, Karl is smiling down there because me and Karl have had some words on Twitter about a little debate going forward. It was the old UK versus America down there. But we're all good friends. Nothing wrong with a nice debate. Noah Pearson's on. I'm not reading out your jokes, mate. Oh, your jokes. Ronnie Beaver, evening, Noah. Hope you're good, mate. Anyway, Sean Skillen, what's up? Galaxy Apart, hello. How are you? Zagon, hello there. How are you? Galaxy Apart, no strikers are getting against Arsenal, it seems. We might be that way. Well, Jesus is back in training. We know that, which is a plus. Hi, Sean. How are you? Southgate out. I'm not going down the England debacle. I'm just not doing it. Yes, Zagon, says Lewis. Levi, hi. Martian. I'm not from outer space, mate. I can't stay for long tonight. Going to try and get some sleep because I have an extra exam tomorrow. So I'll leave a like and have a good night, guys. Yeah, you can catch it back tomorrow, Noah, but good luck in your exam, buddy. Sean saying hello again. I'm getting a book. Don't like reading, but I love reading about Man City. Yes, guys, please go over and from Days at Ransom Books. The contact details are on the video. It is also on the channel from the last 2 or 3 days ago. Go over and give that a listen. Again, it's at the start of all our vlogs at the moment. Yes, and get in contact with Daisy and get yourself a book. You don't have to be a child. I know they're aimed at 7 to 14-year-olds, but if you struggle with reading or you don't even like reading, they are a great way of getting into it. So, yeah, you don't have to be a City fan. Like I say, there's Mbappe, Lewandowski. There's loads of great footballing content in there. Go and give them a read and get yourself one. Hello, Blues, Jack Lee. I'm going to bring Alan's in the background. I'm going to bring him in a minute. David Solomon, hello. Hope you're good. Paul Standard, proper lost touch with international football. Yeah, like me, mate. Ocean Rage, hello, buddy. I'm going to go through all these. Galaxy, mate, we've already been through this. Thank you for your thing, but we'll have a look in the future, mate. Sean, hello, hi. One chop your dick off. Hi, Blue. The Crook clubs are now clear, so they say out with themselves. Yeah, we're going to get there. We'll get there. I'm going to bring Alan in now. Are we sorted? Oh, that's a lot better. What have you done? Can you hear me? Earth to Alan. Hello. Whoa. Okay. Addy, hello. How are you?
Am I echoing?
Nope. You're a lot better now.
Right, because my headphones just suddenly went off. I don't know why. No idea.
I think it's your headphones, because you sound so much better without your headphones.
Perfect. Well, I'll never use them again then. Perfect. I'm happy with that.
It shows your bald spot, but you're all right, mate. Right, guys, let's get into it. The big picture. And all I'm going to say is I'm not going to call it the big 6, the big 2. Missed the big picture. And have we all just seen the bigger picture for what it really, really is? So what I'm going to do before we even move forward, Karl, stop smiling, buddy. Stop smiling down there in the corner. The big picture came out last week, and it was a proposal set up by Liverpool and Manchester United, our friends J.W. Henry and the Glazers, or Joe Glazer to be more precise. And this is exactly what they were proposing, that the Premier League was going to be cut from 20 to 18 clubs, with the Championship, League One and League Two retaining the 24 teams. The bottom 2 teams in the Premier League would be relegated automatically, with the 16th place team joining the Championship playoffs. The League Cup and the Community Shield were going to be abolished and possibly coming back in a more of a different structure. Parachute payments were going to be scrapped, and a £250 million rescue fund would be made immediately available to the EFL and 25% of all future TV deals. A £100 million paid to the FA to make up for lost revenue, and 9 clubs given special voting rights on certain issues based on their long-term time within the Premier League. Now, it does, but apparently that has been rejected in an emergency meeting today. That when it goes on, say the Premier League clubs have unanimously agreed that Project Big Picture will not be endorsed or pursued. The controversial plans proposed by Liverpool and Manchester United were rejected at a meeting of the 20 clubs in England's top flight on Wednesday, and instead the clubs have now agreed to work together on a new strategic plan for the financing of English football. And they have also decided on a £50 million rescue package for the League One and Two clubs at the meeting. So that's the general gist of where we're going. I'm going to start with Oscar, because we're all City fans. We all may have a little, apparently we were part of the big 6. Hello, Kamal, hope you're good, mate. We were part of the Big Six. Not that City have ever been quoted they wanted to be part of this, or ever said they agreed with it. We were just apparently in with the Big Six. But Oscar, as a Leeds fan, because if the proposals have gone ahead, and I don't think they're over yet, this is just the tip of the iceberg of where we're going here. Where are you at, Oscar, with this? I don't want to mean this in a derogatory, an outsider in terms of outside of the Big Six, this would have affected you, and this does affect you.
Yeah, of course. Of course it does, yeah. I mean, I look at it and think, dropping the league down to 18 teams, I can see from a point of view of less games. I know there's a big problem at the minute with too many games. League Cup, Community Shield, and then obviously an extra 4 games in the Premier League if you keep 20 teams. Yes, there's a problem with that. But I look at it and think, what is the purpose of this? Like, surely there's a better. I understand we've got to fund Championship clubs, League One clubs, League Two clubs, and make sure they don't go under. But surely there's got to be a better way than this. Surely there's got to be a better way. I've seen mentions as well about having B teams. Not straight away, but in the future in the Championship and in League One and League Two. I don't know. I'm worried about where English football's heading at the moment. I think it's starting to follow a bit of a Spanish model. Where you see kind of like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid have complete control over Spain. Yes, it's more difficult to do in England because we've got so many top class clubs. As you said, the Big Six. But I'm worried where English football's going at the minute. I'm looking at it and thinking, it just feels. I don't know. I just feel the entertainment side of it's going now. I just feel it's a bit too corporate for my liking. I think it's, but I don't know. City. To be fair, we were talking off air, Martin. City don't sound like they're in favour of it. So fair enough, but it just feels like something that it can only benefit the big clubs at the moment.
Yeah, quite right. Now, if you do remember, Rick Parra is the EFL chairman. Now, I understand. Me and Chris Baker were talking about this by text, and I'm totally in favour of helping the lower league clubs because we don't want another Bury, we don't want another Macclesfield. But here's my stance, and I'm going to come to Karl, or I'll come to Alan. The £250 million that was on offer for me was, how do I put this in a way, was in a way, bung, bribe, a backhander, a sweetener, or whatever you want to call it, to get these measures put into place. Now, if they were going to have a meeting, sit down and talk about how we can stop another Bury, how we can stop another Macclesfield, I'm all in favour with that. I'm all in favour. The top 6 wants to get together and have a chat about that, fine. But they're not doing. To me, this was a little backhander, a little sweetener to get this on board. We have to remember where Rick Parry's background is. Rick Parry's background is Liverpool FC. It is not EFL. That's my little bit. And I just think this has all been put in place to help certain clubs and not others. But I'm going to come on to that in more detail because I have got a very big thing on this that we'll go into. Karl, you're in America. You know all about J.W. Henry and the Glazers and everything else. Now, remember, this is the Glazers that have got the biggest club in the world, £600 million in debt. And we want them to run the Premier League.
So anybody who thinks that this wasn't expected is naive, frankly naive, right? Because this has been going on for 9 months, more than 9 months. And I'm not surprised that FSG and Henry and the Glazers are at the forefront of this, with Rick Parry at the forefront of this. This is what they do. This is how they operate. It's not about football for the local fans. It's about a commercial enterprise. It's all about how do we make more money? How do we get more power to control and drive the agenda for football across the whole world? England being the case study in this case being giving time. Their argument is we have all the TV rights, we have all the TV revenue, we generate the most revenue with the biggest clubs. Therefore, we should control how the Premier League is run. And anybody else, sort off. We don't care, right? Or guess what? Hey, you want money? We'll give you 250 million as a handoff to bribe you, right, in the EFL to go and do what you want, right? Now, there's some good things about this. We know there's a structural issue in the whole league with COVID-19. Clubs don't have gate receipts. Clubs don't have fans in the stadium. There's a revenue shortfall, and many clubs will go bankrupt if they don't get the funding, right? But you want to deal with the devil, right? This is what you get. This is all about, again, look at the NFL. The NFL is a franchise, having 32 teams, right? Nobody gets relegated. Nobody
Don't be bringing me the franchise argument. We're
but
going
Martin, that's the framework you need to understand that they're coming with, right? Why should I invest millions in my club and buy all these players when I can get relegated? Doesn't make any business sense for me. I need to make sure I protect my revenues and have continual income year upon year. That's the mindset, Martin. That is the mindset.
Yeah, but Man United and Liverpool going to get relegated, mate. Do they have to worry about that?
I'll tell you what. If Wolves keeps getting money, if Sheffield United keeps money, Leeds United, as we've seen from the first game of the season, go to against Liverpool and give City a hell of a time. If they get more money, I guarantee you, in a couple of years, United could get relegated. Could. If the platform is the level, the playing platform is level, and everybody can get money, I'm telling you, there's no end. Look at City 10 years ago. Where were we? We got money in. Look at where we are right now. Because the play rules of engagement were across the field. So it's about a franchise model. For me, it's all about the whole European Super League. Right? Towards that.
Let's just park that a minute, Karl, because we'll come on to that. I promise you now, guys, we're going to come on to the franchise argument very, very soon. Alan, you've been very patient down in the corner. This is the longest I've ever heard you be quiet. Go on, mate. What is yours?
Well, I looked at the proposal. Obviously, when it came out obviously over here as well. I looked at it straight away, and I've had conversations with Steve Bardsley about it, because obviously he's quite smart on the finance side. As much as I was in favour of, bailing out the Championship, First Division, Second Division, I was in Manchester a few years ago when Bury got stripped off and the club wasn't around, and I'm from that area, so it was heartbreaking to see some of my friends who watch Bury week in, week out, and I think that the clubs have to help, the Premier League have to help the lower divisions, because let's face it, we've been there, we've been down in the Championship, First Division. So have Leeds, so have Sheffield United, so have Wolves, and I was there at Old Trafford when we put United down. So it can happen to any club. So it's important that we look after the community clubs, because that's where the grassroots are. And Leeds have been through a bad time like we had for 15, 16 years, whatever it was, when our club had real financial problems. So it's important that the clubs look after everybody. And the Premier League have got a bottomless pit of money at the moment, and they need to step in and help the teams. But United and Liverpool have used this to their advantage to say, if we give you X, we want this back in return. And it's a way to gain power above anybody else, and that's what they've done it for. And the other things that they've got in there, one of them was to align FFP with UEFA, because, as you know, the Premier League have different rules to UEFA as far as FFP is concerned. And I'm convinced that Liverpool and Man United are there to try and stop owner investment into the Premier League. That is the number one drive behind what they were trying to do. So clubs like Chelsea, Manchester City, Leicester, who've got big owners there, Sheffield United, Leeds, if their owner, what it's basically stopping is, if an owner decides, let's put in 100 million to spend on infrastructure and a team, they'll allow the infrastructure, but they won't allow it to spend on the team. Now, that's, to me, is, if an owner wants to invest in a club or a business, who's to stop an owner from doing that in a business? You can't. What they're saying that you can do is take massive loans out with the banks and leverage the clubs.
Yep.
Like Man United's Glazers, all they've done is taken loans out. And the last thing Leeds will be doing will be such a thing again, because that's what happened to them last time. And we, and leverage the club to massive debts of 600 million United have got. United are a big club as far as fan base is concerned, and about as turnover is concerned. But they're not a big club as far as the debt is concerned. It actually weakens them. But what they don't like is it being in a weaker position behind the Cities, the Chelseas. Let's face it, the Leicester owners pumped in 165 million when they won that league that year. All right, of his own money, not of a loan, of his own money. We're fortunate that the City and Chelsea and Leicester and Wolves, where we have owners that invest in their club and don't take dividends out. That is the big thing. Whereas the Liverpool model and the American model is they leverage off their club and put the club into debt. Now, with COVID right now going on, that to me is a dangerous thing to do. You won't go out and buy a $2 million house right now when in the middle of COVID when you're not sure what the future's going to be.
Yep.
So no one's that silly unless there was a bargain to be had. Now I just think it's a power grab from the top tier, and that's why it's been rejected. I agree with you, Martin. This is the start of it. I think the fundamental model of helping the lower league clubs, we've all been there in this conversation here where we've been down. We have to help them because where are we with, in the NFL in America, they have one competition with the same teams in it. Okay, no one gets relegated. It doesn't work that way. It's a college system. In AFL over here, which is the Australian Aussie rules, same thing. One league, franchise model, and the feeder clubs are the VFL, Victoria Football Association. That's where they have a draft system, exactly the same as America. It wouldn't work in the UK. It just would not work because we haven't got the same structure in that place. But I do agree with, certain things like capping the away tickets, 18 clubs, 100 million per. It's all right saying 18 clubs, but that means less games. So is the Sky deal going to come down? So we get less money?
Well.
So there's all these factors. But Liverpool United are using this as an opportunity to gain more power and to also to try and stop owner investment in the club. They were talking about losses, being able to see accounts when they feel like it. It doesn't really matter with City because people seem to forget that City put their accounts on the internet every year, even though they're not a public listed company. It's they're open with that. But Liverpool United are trying to blackmail their way into having more power, and that's what's wrong.
So Alan, I have a different point of view. Let me ask this question, right? These guys, they think with the end in mind. When is the next TV contract negotiation up? Anybody know?
Next year.
Okay.
Oh, 2 years away. Sorry, 2 years away.
Okay, good. So this is what's going on. The new TV deal is coming up. It's going to probably be 5 or 6 or 7 times more than we have right now because you have Amazon, you're going to have Facebook, you're going to have all these folks for participating in this. That's more money. They're trying to set the stage now to plan for that in 2 years' time. And they want to shape and change the way the model, the distribution of income works. That's why they can give it to 50 million now to the EFL. That's why they want to get 25% of the TV revenue to the Championship and the League One, because they know in 2 years' time, when the deal's up, and maybe it's not Sky, maybe it's Amazon, we're talking about, it's $5 billion now, probably $15, $20 billion TV deals, and they want more of that pie and more control of that pie. And also notice, Martin and Alan and Oscar, in the things they talked about, for FFP, they didn't talk about including debt in the calculation.
That's right.
Right?
I appreciate that. Before we go into that, I want to bring in Oscar because Oscar's the Leeds fan. John, Oscar supports Leeds United mates from All Leeds TV, and we're quite honoured to have him on tonight. So thank you, Oscar, for coming on, especially so late, buddy. I do appreciate that. But, as a Leeds fan, you weren't going to be part of this 9. Now, apparently, there was going to be 9 teams allowed to vote. was going to be the top 6, which were United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and who was the other one?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. And then it was going to be West Ham, Southampton, and Everton. They were going to be the 9. But the caveat on there was the other 3 teams of Everton, West Ham, and Southampton, their vote was only going to count if the top 6 couldn't agree.
Yeah.
But basically, the top 6 were going to have the final vote anyway.
Right.
So it didn't really matter, really. This other 3 votes was a bit of a sweetener to say yes, even though it made jack shit difference on whether these 3 had a vote or not, because they were never really going to get counted. But as a Leeds fan, you were never going to get voted in this, so you had to go along with it, buddy. Whether you liked it or not, whatever got voted in, you had to hold on tight, put your seatbelt on, and enjoy the ride. From that point of view, how do you feel? That has got that has got to be a scary point from your point of view of Jesus Christ, we've got no say here.
100%, because theoretically, I think you look at the last couple of years. I think Alan mentioned, Leicester, not just the year they won the league, Leicester last season. I'll tell you what, Leicester almost made the top 4 last season. And can you imagine, in terms of revenues for the Glazers, if they hadn't made the top 4, probably Solskjaer would have been gone. If Chelsea hadn't made the top 4, do you think Chelsea would have been able to buy Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, blah, 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 all those players if they didn't get in the Champions League? That's the thing. It came that close to missing out, and that was little old Leicester City. We've seen Southampton recent years push for the top 6. Yeah. Everton probably going to push for the top 6 this time around. They don't like. I don't want to have a go at City because City do seem to be away from this. Let's go on to Liverpool and Man United. The Liverpool and Man United don't want that threat. What's happening right now, the top 6 don't want, the league being this open. As it does look at the minute, 4 games in, it does look very open this season. That's not what the league wants. Ideally, you want the top 6 to stay the same, and then the rest of the league can just do whatever the rest of the league wants to do. And I think you look at it, and there's 2 ways of looking at it, I guess. Ultimately, being totally honest, as a Leeds fan, I'll admit this, the reason a lot of the overseas supporters watch the Premier League is because of the Big 6. I'd be naive to say anything else. I would be naive to say anything else. There's a reason people in Spain watch the Premier League is to watch the Big 6, to watch Sterling, Salah, Mane, etc., etc. They're not watching the Premier League to watch us. They're not watching the Premier League to watch Southampton, etc., etc. So that's the thing. The power is all in the Big 6. The TV contract is massive because of the Big 6. That's the bottom line of it. But you get to a point where if this European Super League happens, from a pure entertainment point of view, I think financially, I just see it as a fad. I just see it as a fad because you see 2 or 3 years, don't get me wrong, Barcelona versus Man City, home and away, brilliant, brilliant for 2 years maybe. But then after a while you'll think, hang on a minute, it loses its appeal, I feel. It's like having a World Cup or the European Championships every year. It just loses its appeal. If you give people too much of one thing, I don't see what's wrong with the Champions League. That's what the Champions League's there for, surely. Well, how about you change the structure of the Champions League? Why does it need to be the because that's on the assumption that we're going for this Big 6 massive European Super League where Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, Dortmund, Bayern, and then the Big 6 all join this massive Super League, and like a 12, 14 team league. That's the basis. That's been in the pipeline since probably the Glazers and John W. Henry brought Liverpool and Man United. That's always been in the pipeline. That's always been there in the background. But I just look at it and think, what makes the Premier League great is that it is so competitive at the moment. I think the last 2-3 years, I think it's massively improved. I think the Premier League got to a point where La Liga, with Barcelona, Real Madrid, with Pep, at Barcelona, Mourinho at Real Madrid, Ronaldo, Messi. I'll be funny, La Liga had overtaken the Premier League at that point.
Yeah.
We look at it now, and you see the players that are coming into the Premier League. You think the Premier League at the minute is in a position of strength. Why threaten that? Why threaten that all of a sudden? Because if you change it into an 18-team league, you introduce B teams into the Football League. Okay, it's presumptuous to say that, but that does feel like that's going to be a big step. It's because look, if you're asking teams to bail out Championship, League One, League Two clubs, I can understand there is something they want back. I can understand that. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You're not just going to say, "Oh yeah, there you go. We're going to bail out Bury, Wigan, Bolton, etc., etc. All those clubs. You're not just going to do that for free." But I don't know. I just look at it.
Oscar, I agree with you, and I want and the issue is capital is going to drive decisions unless the fans in England stand up and join together and fight this. Capital will drive it. But you guys in England have to stand up and fight this because nobody else will. I guarantee you. Us overseas fans, we couldn't care less. I mean, we like watching, Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2. We like that. We love the Leeds versus City game. 1-1 was a brilliant game. We love it. But more than likely, we want to see the big teams play against each other. That's the reality where we are. That's why you have the global fan base.
Okay, but
sorry, Martin, but you guys have to fight for this. Because if not, capital will drive what happens.
Right, we're just going to go to Alan and I'll come in on a point I want to make. Go on, Alan.
I agree with Oscar in a way, but we've got to look at the last 10, 15 years. The Premier League has got more and more powerful every single year over the last 15 years. And that's because every club has been rewarded with £100 million per year off Sky and the World TV deal, okay? The amount of money it makes in Australia, in the Far East, in the Middle East, in America, etc., is huge, okay? And that's what's driving the money, I'll be honest with you. Not necessarily from the UK. People don't really realise how big it is around the world unless you travel a lot, okay? And there is a huge fan base everywhere. There's a huge fan base for Leeds in Melbourne. I see it, okay? Now, every year that 100 million goes into per clubs, every year, them clubs get stronger, and stronger, and they've got more access to buy better players from all over the world. Okay, so the clubs have got stronger. So when the clubs have got stronger, the standard of the league's got better. So you can have the bottom teams, turning up and beating the Cities, beating the Chelsea, beating the Liverpools, if you don't turn up, you get beat. End of story. All right. Yeah. This is why it's far better than the Liga, Bundesliga, because they in La Liga, 80% of the revenue, TV money, goes to Barcelona and Real Madrid. So they're going to have the best squads every single year, guaranteed. It's like Celtic and Rangers in Scotland. Yeah. So over the years, the Premier League now, one, it's the richest competition in the world. It's bigger than the Champions League, fact, and that's because look at the winnings that you get from the Premier League: 165, 170 million for the winners. It's only 90 million for winning the Champions League. The Premier League is the biggest league in the world, not the Champions League. It's nice to have the Champions League, and UEFA don't like it. This is why they were kicking off when they're trying to get clubs like Chelsea, City, and PSG. They don't like it. They want these teams out and these owners out of these competitions. Pushing United, Liverpool, who are the old guard, and Arsenal's are the old guard of the powerhouses from the Premier League and the old First Division. They don't like having their noses pushed out and coming 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th, which has been recently over the last 10 years, which is what's been happening. Okay, so they don't like it. So United especially haven't won a league title or come nowhere near a league title since Fergie walked out. So they're not the same club as they used to be. All right, Liverpool, it took them 30 years to win the Premier League, and most of the time they come nowhere near even competing for it. This is the first year they have, and that's fine. I take it on the chin and say, well done Liverpool last year. They deserve to win the league. They did. As much as I don't like them, they won the league fair and square. Right. But the one thing you've got to make the league competitive for everybody, and that includes Aston Villa, that includes Burnley. They've got to be able to compete against every single team in the league, and that's why they're successful. Well, hang on, you've got to have that, and it's not. It's all right. See, the thing is, United and Liverpool don't like not dictating what's going on. Okay, that's the bottom line here. All right, and they like the lion's share of the money. They want their European Super League, and they don't like the PSGs, the Chelsea, the Leeds from years ago coming in and pushing the noses out. They don't like it. They don't want it, and that is the biggest problem.
Okay, but Oscar made a very good point. He did say that people watch the Premier League for Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, City. They don't watch it to watch Burnley versus, no disrespect here, Burnley versus Bournemouth when they were in the Premier League. They're not tuning in for that. They're not doing it. So is it not fair that the bigger clubs that are the appeal, you get a bigger share of the pie? Because they're the appeal.
I hear your point.
Let me finish the point. It's like a concert. If Madonna, for example, is on concert at the local arena, she can charge £150, £200. If it's a local band, you're paying £20. It's supply and demand, isn't it?
That's the argument. That is the argument that's driven this whole discussion. They feel that they drive demand for the product, and as such, they compensated more than a Burnley, with due respect, and versus, let's say, Bournemouth when they were in the league. And in some respects, I agree with that, right? But what's the other side? How do they compensate for that to make sure that they don't have doting powers? They don't do this 6 14, right? That's the issue. How do you manage the revenue model such that you can compensate those who have more attractiveness versus teams that are trying to stay in the league? That's the balance that needs to be struck.
Every club that's in the league deserves a vote and deserves a say. That's my bone of contention, right? I don't care if it's Burnley. Leeds have just come back, and I'm glad they're back this year. All right, and if Notts Forest get up next year, they won the European Cup twice. Okay,
Notts Forest.
I know, but you hear what I'm saying, don't you? If they come up, they deserve a say, and they deserve a vote like everybody. You can't have people dictating. And Liverpool, Man United want all the power, and that is the bottom line with this.
No, I get what you're saying, Alan, but then comes in. I mean, let me ask Oscar on this. With what Alan's saying there about Notts Forest, Oscar, and everything else, can we not go down Sheffield Wednesday deserve a vote? Then Notts Forest. We can go all the way down to Notts County, Oldham Athletic, who were in the Premier. We could go right back here and give every team a go in the Premier League. So, but do we go off where they're at now, or do we go off the history? Because then this comes back to the argument of, well, how big's your club? How big is it? What's it based on? Is it based on trophies? Because it's based on trophies. City are a big club, but they're not as big as some other clubs because they haven't won a European trophy in a lot of people's eyes. So why should City be classed as the top six? When your point there, Alan, Notts Forest are down in the Championship. They've won 2 European Cups and we haven't won any. So are they allowed to vote more than us?
Based on balance. It's based, again, from the perspective of the owners, it's based on balance sheet. That's it.
Yeah. I agree. Alan just made a point of like Notts Forest, and I get it. I absolutely get it.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But...
So that's me.
Who's got the ice cream van going through the living room?
Sort that. 1 second, guys.
I think Oscar's just died.
That's his standing for him.
I'm just going to bring Oscar out.
Okay.
We're just going to take Oscar out and then we'll bring him back in when he's ready. I'm just going to come to some comments while Oscar's out. To me, will there still be relegation and promotion? Yes, but in a different format. It's going to be only 2 relegated and the third one goes into Championship player.
I like
I think
that.
Oscar's ready. I'm going to bring Oscar
I like the idea of that.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's all right, mate. As a City fan, I'm glad it fell through. First off, if City were in on this big picture, but if it were in it, I would literally fall out of love with football and City altogether. Remember your roots. I'm going to bring that brings me lovely into a comment here. Sorry, I've got to bring this in. Chris Baker. Alan, did you invite me?
Messi signing for Leeds. That's what it was.
Karl, me and Karl had a little debate on Twitter. Now, Karl's an American, like I said, he follows the NFL and they have a franchise thing. And there was talk, Oscar and Alan can come in on this event, in a bit. There was talk of a 19th Premier League, 39th Premier League game, wasn't there, abroad? Because he wanted to that's where the market was. And Karl talked to me, we and Karl had a little chat on Twitter privately about how Karl thinks eventually the idea of what they want is to move the clubs abroad, rename them, because that's where the money is. And Karl said they don't really care about the local fans anymore. And I always no, if that happens, I'm not supporting City anymore. I'll fall out of love with them, get lost. I won't have any of that. And then I sat back and thought about it with this big picture idea. And we've already got the UEFA Champions League, because that's changed from the old style Champions League and went to a mini sort of European Super League. To eventually, we're probably going to end up moving to a Super League at some point in the not too distant future. I don't think that's far away. Could we be looking at eventually? Are these American owners thinking, hang on here, I could take football away here, move it to the States or wherever they wanted to move it, franchise it, rename, and make a bucket load of money out of this? Or, I'm going to come to you, Karl, on this first.
I don't discount anything these guys can do, man. You have to realize the hyper-capitalism these guys have in their mind. Think about it. During COVID-19, with all the pressures that we have with all the clubs that are losing money, with all the issues around player salaries and all that's going on, the $14.99, per pay-per-view, this leaks at this point in time. I don't discount what these guys can do. In the NFL, we have situations where teams move from a town to another town, get renamed, and they still have the backing. I think it was the St. Louis Rams moved to the LA Rams. You have different clubs moving. At one point the Baltimore Ravens were something else. I think it was some other state. They moved and they renamed them, and the party continues on. Now it's harder to do in England, but I don't discount these guys, man. I don't put my money past them. They can do anything. Right now, what's generating revenue for them, it's not the fans in the stadium, it's the TV rights at this point in time. Without the TV rights, football would be dead right now, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm not one who's, maybe I'm overly cynical, but these guys are hyper-capitalists who will do anything to preserve their revenue. They don't care.
Okay. Oscar, where are you at with that?
I think I'm going to just bring in, as Karl's mentioned, NFL, I'm just going to bring in two other sports as well, which I think is kind of comparable. Golf and cricket. So to start with golf, if you think about a major tournament, people go to a major golf tournament mostly to watch people like Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth, etc., Brooks Koepka, etc. What golf has headed towards now is match play between these players. So you see a lot. I think 2 years ago we saw Phil Mickelson against Tiger Woods in a £10 million match. Just a match play, one match. And it attracted more viewers than an Open Championship, the Masters, the US Open, the Ryder Cup ever has. Just on that one match. Phil Mickelson versus Tiger Woods on a one-off match.
Yeah.
For me, and if we go on to cricket as well, obviously cricket, we know we've got the Indian Premier League, the Big Bash League. What is stopping, theoretically, starting new clubs? So still having new Manchester Cities, or starting a club in America called, the New York, etc., and then allowing that club to sign Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, etc., just different. If you know what I mean. So Kevin De Bruyne doesn't only play for Man City; he plays for another club in New York on a one-off tournament every year, for example. What's stopping that?
Go to New York City that we've already got.
New York is a bad example. All right, I don't know, Boston. So you know, so
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Technically, City have already got the model in place, ready to go.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, absolutely. But you look at that, and for me, I don't mind getting rid of the League Cup personally. I don't really understand why we've got 2 cup competitions anyway. I've never really understood that. I think just have the FA Cup for me. I'm not bothered about getting rid of the League Cup. But that's, for me, is a better model than just trying to get rid of the Premier League. Because the golf, it's not like the golf has decided all of a sudden, okay, only Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy and Brooks Koepka can play in the Masters this year. We can only have 3 people in the Masters. And let's be honest, in golf is a lot more open than football at the minute. What they've done in golf is they've just started a whole new competition. Cricket started a whole new competition. Okay, Test cricket suffered a little bit, but what they're trying to do here is the fundamental of any football club is the league campaign. It's still a league campaign. You know, I know we talk about the Champions League and that lot, but for 90% of football clubs, the fundamental is what they do in the league. Not bothered about what they do in the clubs. You think, really, theoretically, Man City last season won the League Cup. I think it's 3 years in a row you've won the League Cup.
Yeah.
Do you think that Man City board really looked at that? You know, when they look at Pep Guardiola's whole achievements and say, oh, that's brilliant, he's won 3 League Cups in a row. They don't look at that. Look at what he did in the Premier League. You know, the Centurions last season and possibly even this season, or with the Champions League. You know, that's the thing. I can understand it from that point of view. Getting rid of the competitions most people don't care about. Most people don't care about the League Cup. You could even say most people don't care about the FA Cup. You can never get rid of the FA Cup, really.
I know what you're saying, Oscar.
Have you heard about the International Champions Cup they play every year?
Yes, yeah.
So every year in the US and in Asia, they get all these teams together and play AC Milan, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Man City, and they play. And the stadiums are packed. I mean, they are packed. The model for this is already in place. What's going to stop them is going to be the local fans in England who say none of this BS. This has to stop. If not, I'm telling you, capitalism will drive this to the end.
I'd say it. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to sound really rude here, and I don't. Karl, I know you do, because you took the time to do it. Out of all right, then Real Madrid, Man United, when they played in LA and they had the 100,000. How many of those fans actually knew about the history of Man United, the Busby Babes, and everything else? Not a lot of them.
Nope.
You could survey them going around. But, you know, Leeds, all the Leeds fans abroad, have they studied the Leeds history? Have they studied the Man City history? Do they know who Colin Bell is? I mean, I know a lot of City fans who are in England and don't know who Colin Bell is.
But Martin, see, the mistake local fans make is that they think this about the history. It's about the revenue to these guys. It's not about history with these guys. It's about, you got private equity guys who are helping FSG and Glazers to run the numbers. It's about revenue. And that's all they care about. Revenue. And as long as the revenue is in a place, that's where they're going to drive to. The only thing that's going to stop this is local fans and the government and the Premier League who say no. That's why Rick Parry involved in this was really surprising. Being an Englishman,
not for me.
You know,
not for me. Look at his background, Karl.
Yeah, but just remember, from these guys' perspective, it's all about revenue, and balance sheet. That's all they care about. Leverage what you can, make the money, do what you can.
Well, when it comes to Alan on this, I want to ask you. Sorry, Karl, but Oscar's got a point. He said doesn't mind the League Cup going. But are Leeds realistically going to win the league? So, and then you said, well, the FA Cup could go. A team like Southampton, a team like Burnley, that's their way of winning a trophy. So
how many times does that happen, though? It doesn't. I know it's their biggest chance, but still, I think the last few years it's been Liverpool, Man City, I think even Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal have had that kind of hold on that kind of competition anyway, though.
City are one of the only teams, though, Oscar, to take the competition seriously. We don't stick our kids out.
Martin, the solution is pretty simple with the League Cup. If you're in the European competition, don't play the League Cup. So
Yeah,
if you're
no, that's true. No,
League, don't play the League Cup. Let others play for it.
I just think that's taking things for granted for me. I want to win everything if I can. I'm not bothered if we don't win trophies. I'm not, but I don't want to get all we're too big, we're too good for a competition, so that goes. I don't like that attitude. It's personal opinion, but I'm not overly keen on it. I mean, Alan, where are you at? Where do you stand with that?
Well, I'd like all the competitions to stay. With the COVID year, I would have accepted the League Cup to go for this year. Okay, because of COVID, because of the situation with you starting the league late, etc. They should have kiboshed this European competition with England at the moment, the Nations League. What a waste of bleeding time that is, and the players are not, they're not fit, they're getting injuries. This year, those two competitions should have been scrapped. But after that, as far as I'm concerned, all the competitions in England should stay. My priority is the Premier League. I can take it or leave it, the Champions League, I'll be honest with you, because the European clubs outside England need the Champions League more than we need that, because of the prize money that we get compared to the prize money they get. The Liga, for winning the Liga, is 40 million euros for winning the Liga. So that's why the Spanish teams need to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
We don't. And we don't. It's just a prestige thing to the English clubs, and that's it. But as far as what the start of the subject was, in AFL over here, there's a suburb in Melbourne. AFL originates around Melbourne, okay? That's where it's played 90% of the clubs, okay? The rest of them, the teams like, they had a club called Fitzroy. They would change the name and they moved them to Brisbane and call them Brisbane Lions, okay? And it's all to do with Foxtel, which is Sky TV, really, okay? Foxtel. And they've created these franchise clubs around Australia, okay, away from it. It's a budget to take it around Australia, because on the East Coast, where Sydney and Queensland, it's all rugby league. And Victoria and South Australia and a little bit of maybe West Australia, it's all AFL, okay? That's the sports that they play. So in Sydney, they don't give a toss about AFL, all right? So they've created these teams around the country to take it around Australia, to market it through Foxtel. So it's all about, like Karl says, making money, okay? Whatever makes money works to them. They don't give a toss about the local fans. Can you imagine Leeds United or Man City suddenly came out and said, right, we're taking our clubs and we're moving one to Melbourne, one to LA. Can you imagine what our fans would be like in Manchester? They'd hit the roof, and Leeds fans would go ballistic, okay? And I went to a game over here for the ICC tournament in Melbourne where we played Real Madrid, and we had 100,000 there. And the Aussie fans, they don't sing. That's not their culture to carry on like that. They went to watch Real Madrid against City with all the superstars. Real Madrid brought everybody over. City had all the kids play. I went to it, but they thought the Premier League is massive over here.
Was that under Pellegrini?
That's right. Yeah, it was. Vincent Kompany went home before that game because his wife was having a kid. We had Denea at the back, and he was 16, and another lad who was 16, 17, playing against Ronaldo, Benzema, and Bale, and they got torn to pieces. It's to the owners of clubs, it's all about one thing and one thing only, especially the Americans, because they're used to it, of the franchise model to make money, all right? And they'll do whatever it takes to make more money, but they all want control of it. See, the American model is so different to the English model. So this is why they don't like owner investment from the Arab countries or China or Thailand or wherever it may be. They don't like it, and it's not about the fans anymore. When it's the old days of us going to Ellen Road watching City in the 70s, and it was all about the fans, how much fans brought in, and etc. Unfortunately, it's sad, and I love those days. It's gone, and it's gone forever. Now it's all about TV and sponsorship and merchandising. It's all about the big product, about what you can sell around the world. Now, fortunately, City's fan base is growing. Why do you think the City are concentrating on building a fan base around the world? Because they've not had it. Okay, they've got one now. Leeds have got a huge one over here because of Harry Kuehl, Mark Viduka, etc. When they made their fan base in that way, they all turned Leeds fans. Okay, and Liverpool fans have got from the 70s and 80s, with Craig Johnston, etc. The Liverpool fans over here, every third person here is a Liverpool fan. Don't ask me why, but they are. Okay, and they have no idea who Steve Highway is, or who Colin Bell is, or the dirty Leeds in the 70s side. They have no idea.
Yeah. So again, Alan's point. Alan's absolutely correct. So they don't care who Colin Bell. They don't. Now I care because I came over. I've taken a study, and I've asked people like yourself about the club's history and really get into what makes City City.
Yeah.
Right. These guys, all they care about is, okay, the fact that we have 20 Premier League teams operating, that's equity dilution. That's what it is, right? It's finance, it's numbers, it's capital, it's profitability. You're diluting my equity by having 20 shareholders who have equal rights. I don't want that. If I'm buying Harry Maguire for £80 million, I'm buying, what's that kid's name? The Portuguese guy for Man United. What's his name?
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes. And I'm buying the guy from Uruguay, right? All these guys, I'm investing all this money, and I'm sharing the same amount with you on a yearly basis. That doesn't make any sense. I'm investing more.
Listen, I get that.
So to them, it's all about financial profitability and capital and equity dilution. That's the issue. And they want more power. They can control how the money's shared across the teams.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all about.
I'm going to ask this. Going to cut a Oscar with this. When that Newcastle United deal didn't happen, that takeover, apparently that was null and voided by the Premier League. Premier League didn't want that. Was this, I mean, for me, because these ideas don't just pop into people's heads within, people are going about COVID. This was in the works way before COVID was even going, for me. You don't just put this idea on a napkin down one night and go, oh, right, okay, I'm going to go to the Premier League with this. For me, has this been in the work for a while? Is this part of the reason why the Premier League vetoed the Newcastle takeover from Saudi Arabia, from his royal, I can't remember his name, the Sheikh Royal, I can't remember his name. The guy was a trillionaire, anyway.
Yeah. MBS.
Is this the start of it? Because for me, if I was a Leeds fan and someone comes to me with this proposition, I'm sat there thinking, we're not in this. We are just a cog on a wheel, and you want your little top sticks up there. And basically, you have to do as we say, in a way. So in a way, is Man City, well, where we bitched and moaned for 6 months about the cartel of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Barcelona, we go and join a cartel in the Premier League. So if any City fan ever turns around and says to me, great idea, we should go and do that, I'm going to turn around and go, well, excuse me, 3 months ago when UEFA were trying to kick us out, you didn't want to be part of it then, so why do you want to suddenly go and become something you hated?
And Martin, just to clarify your point, so City fans who agree to this deal think that it's all over. It's not. That FFP rule in that agreement says that all clubs will open their books to other clubs to look at.
I was coming to that.
I'm telling you, they're going to redefine what FFP is, and then third-party income. Or third party, they're going to redefine it and go back years to litigate an issue.
I'm going to come to that in a minute, Karl. We'll come to that. But Oscar, your part as a Leeds fan, you're basically just going to have to sit there like it and lump it. How do you feel at that? I know this proposition is dead for now. But this is not dead. This is a starting point for me. And this is right. We're seeing if they're going to agree to that. No, fine. Let's go back to the drawing board.
No, 100%. It's not it's nothing like to celebrate at all. For a Leeds fan in terms of it getting, for me, it's just been postponed. It's only going to be maybe it's going to be a lesser, kind of more diluted version in terms of what next gets proposed. Most likely, I don't think they're not going to go the other way and say, okay, we're just going to break away now. It's not going to go that way. It's just going to be more towards a compromise. But for me, as a Leeds fan, I look at it and think, hang on a minute, is this just going to become an extended version of the Championship now? Almost. Anyone outside the top six, it's almost like a Championship club now, in effect. Because they have no power. All of a sudden, they're just, when you go into the Premier League as a Leeds fan, I wasn't just thinking of it, we're a Premier League club, just from that point of view. I was thinking, okay, we're going to test ourselves against the very best now. We're not going to go to places like Luton away, Tranmere away, places like that. No disrespect to them, but after 16 years, you get a bit sick of it, to be fair. And you just see that on your fixture list every single year. And you guys will know, City, early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, it was very much the same, wasn't it? And look, the thing is, you look at it and say, you want to play against the best. You want to have games against City at home, Bielsa versus Pep, Klopp versus Bielsa, Liverpool away, etc., etc. You want games like that. So, from our point of view, look, it's very much going to be against this. But then, if you look at Newcastle and say, if that had gone through, or if this had been Leeds United 20 years ago, when we were, obviously we weren't at the top table, but the top table then was Arsenal and Man United. Even Liverpool kind of probably took a bit of a back seat at that stage. They were probably in kind of transitional time at that time. But looking at it from that point of view, maybe we would have been involved in that 20 years ago. And that's probably when the talk started. So, if Newcastle's bid had been accepted, all of a sudden Newcastle would have been the big seven. Because you're not just going to ignore Newcastle sitting there having Mbappe and all these. Look, I never really believed that, but Mbappe, Pochettino managing them, and
so that's my point. Was this
quite. Yeah, I think definitely. Because, you look at it from a Big Six point of view. If you're Man City, Liverpool, and Man United, do you really want another club coming in like Newcastle, signing people like Mbappe, signing people like Haaland, signing all these world-class players? Because let's be honest, no disrespect to Man City at all. When Man City first entered, the market, if you like, under Sheikh Mansour, was it 2008? 2008, was it? Yeah, it was 2008, wasn't it? You're not telling me clubs are thinking, this is brilliant. If you're Chelsea or Man United, you're thinking, brilliant, we've got more competition now. That's not how they look at it, not at all. The managers might look at it differently. Pep Guardiola, Klopp, probably not bothered in reality, but it goes way beyond that. As Karl's already said, it goes beyond the emotional side of the game, the tactical, the managerial side, even the football pitch. It goes beyond, way, way beyond that. Even forget, it's pretty much irrelevant. It's all about the boardroom itself, the top of the order, the sponsorship. Imagine the opportunity. Say, for example, if it was a European Super League, PSG versus Man City, followed by Real Madrid versus Dortmund, followed by Bayern Munich, Barcelona, followed by PSG, Chelsea, etc., etc. You have just games like that. I'd get bored of it. I would get bored of that after a while. I think even the Champions League, you go to like earlier on in the summer, the Champions League took a totally different format than it did ever has done before. But for me, the one leg system, it just got boring.
You know what they'll do? They'll invite every club for a season. That's what they'll do. These guys are telling you, man. These guys think they'll invite certain club. They'll invite Leeds to come in because of Bielsa and the way you guys play. They'll invite Sheffield United for instance, or invite Hoffenheim, for example. Right? They'll invite Atalanta. They'll invite them for the season. Right?
Because if for want of a better word, the sexy clubs are quite fashionable, trendy clubs, and that's the thing. I mean, in terms of being powerhouses, not powerhouses, but kind of add a different element to it. All of a sudden, you've got Atalanta turning up, who score like 5 goals a game and have all this wonderful attacking football. You think, Oh, I'll tell you what, we'll have a bit of that. It's almost like the NFL. You know, you have teams outside of the big cartel. I'm not a massive NFL expert, but you do have teams that you think, hang on, they're pretty awful in terms of comparison to the other teams, but they do bring something different. You know, they bring a bit, and that's the thing. That could well happen, Carl. No, definitely. You know, there's not going to be any specific rules to it. You know, if they want to invite someone in, just coming in, pick and choose and say, okay, Bielsa's left Leeds, you can go now, gone, and that lot. That is the top and bottom of it. You know, there's no emotional side to this at all. The competitive spirit is kind of gone from that kind of thing. The competitive spirit is only there with the coaches, nowhere else.
I want to bring Alan in. Go on, Alan, you had your hand up, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with Oscar in a way, but I go back to obviously the Premier League model. Forget Europe for a second, okay? We know where Liverpool and Man United stances. They just want a European Super League, but I want the Leeds United to have an owner that invests. We need Leeds back at the top. We need Leeds competing for the title. We need Everton competing for the title. I want Newcastle to have this investment. All right. I want Wolves to grow in our investment and them to get better, because in turn it will make us get better, Man United get better, Tottenham get better, Chelsea get better, etc. It becomes a competitive league. All right, that's what I want. What I don't want is teams with power and the Wolves, the Leeds, the Villas, the Cities. You know, as much as we might like to think we have the revenue coming in like United and Liverpool, we don't. Okay, but where does that leave us moving forward? You know, we need to be able to think, well, we can go out and win the league. We can go out and win the FA Cup. We can go and win in Europe. All right, and why would if we can imagine now, Martin, we're in a different situation now because of our owner. Fact, all right. We didn't used to be. Can you imagine being 8th, 9th, but having the ambition? In 2008, Manchester City had to spend money to get into the top 4, compared where we were mid-table at the time. For us to get to the top 4, we had to invest heavily, and that's what the club did. All right, Leeds did that, maybe not through owner but through loans, and broke into the top 4 and got to the semi-final of the Champions League. All right, and they had an awesome side. All right, now who's to stop other teams doing the same? If you're Leeds, Everton, Wolves, Sheffield United, West Ham, these clubs that you would say financially are up and coming, all right? You mean to tell me that their owners and their fans and their players are being told, well, you stay mid-table, we'll win everything.
Yeah.
They don't want to do, they want to compete, they want to beat us. They want to beat us.
The point, it's not going to be their choice. It wasn't their choice.
Pardon?
It wouldn't have been their choice if this should have passed.
I know, I agree. This is why every club has a right to have a vote and have the same amount of power as each other, right? And Liverpool United are a disgrace. Like they put one rule in here that I read over, which was to do with the loan system, right? I know why they've written that. It's to stop Chelsea. Because they want a limit on loans from players to go out domestically. City, all right, because we just banged them out to one of our clubs in Spain and Belgium, etc., where we've got our clubs. Chelsea, pardon? Hang on. But it's all about trying to stop the teams that are trying to compete, because we're never going to get the revenue that United and Liverpool have got. Not for 20 years.
No, we're also never going to get the debt they've got.
Exactly.
Man City are never going to be £600 million in debt.
No,
like
ever.
Them down the road are.
Yeah, they are.
And they're allowed to get away with it because they've got a big turnover.
Well, it's like the FFP rule. We touched on it before. The FFP rule needs to be a combination between debt and revenue.
Yeah, but
not just on all that revenue, right?
And Karl touched on this. Think of it this way. This FFP rule that they were going to come in because the part of this big pitch project was the FFP rule was going to go in line, the Premier League FFP rule, sorry, was going to fall in line with the UEFA FFP rules.
Yeah.
If this should have got passed, what do you think United, Liverpool, and everyone else would have done?
Oh, it's clear. This is why I think I mentioned to you the first that came out. I said, watch for that FFP language because they know exactly
what would they do.
Well, first of all, probably go back with the whole time bar issue. So there's no statute of limitations. So the Premier League going to go back, look at a time bar issue, use it, get away to get kicked out.
There you go. Straight away, Manchester City are basically the back of the investigation by Man United and Liverpool, basically.
So if I may, Mark, explain something to folks. So when I was consulting back in the day for clients, we used to have this thing called the fiercest competitor, right? So we run a simulation where you assume the role of your first competitor and figure out a way to bring them down, essentially. So that's how I was consulting for British Airways, right? Who's the first competitor? Virgin Atlantic. How do we bring down Virgin Atlantic, right? From a marketing, from a competitive standpoint. That's how I think this way. This is exactly what they would do. Use that FFP language to bring this club down and force the owners out. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm going to end on this. I'm going to end on two questions. First question I want to ask is, now that this is off the table, they're talking about a £50 million thing now down to the League One and League Two. It doesn't include the Championship, funnily enough, at the moment, which is kind of worrying. Should we be doing more, or is there a way we could do more to help the lower league clubs stay in business right now rather than silly rules that they want to come into force? Because I don't care, anyone said this £250 million payment was a sweetener to get this over the line. But we've got to come into some way to keep the likes like Oscar, Barnsley and teams like that in his area. And we've got, Macclesfield and Bury in our area that have gone. But like Oscar says, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So how do we get around this point of helping them, but where it's not a hand-me-down? Alan?
Every big club from the Premier League, okay, to invest in, I know the FA stopped this, but they should reopen it, considering what's going on, should invest at least 10 to 20% in a club or two clubs within their area. In other words, let's take Leeds, okay, for argument's sake. They bought 10% rights or 20% rights in Barnsley and Bradford, okay, all right, to help financially with them, but also help financially run them, okay, to sustain them. They could use that club to also play some of their youngsters and loan them throughout the years, all right, for 12-month periods. City could do the same with Rochdale, Stockport, Bury, whoever. United could do the same. Liverpool could do the same with Tranmere and Crewe, maybe, and teams like that. If everyone did that sort of thing and owned other clubs, then you've got the B-side clubs. The Man City B-side would be in the lower leagues. I think if you looked at that kind of model as well as an option, I think as an option, I'm not saying do it as an option. I think that would be more viable going forward, because over the last 5 to 10 years now, lower league clubs are struggling left, right, and centre, and everyone knows they are. Okay, financially. So, and the people that are stopping it at the moment is the old guard FA won't allow investment. It's like when Bury went down. Ideally, City and United would have helped them.
Not allowed.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying to you. But if it was allowed,
but like Oscar says, though, no such thing as a free lunch. We can't just bail him out.
It's not free. It's not free. You take part ownership of them.
But Alan, the thing is, I mean, I think that's a good. I think as a plan, I think it helps the clubs. But you think of the Bradford fans, the Barnsley fans, would they want? I mean, I know how much they dislike Leeds. Would they want Leeds United having that part of ownership?
Oscar,
There's a pride element to those the smaller clubs.
I agree with what you're saying, but do you want to see a bury happen again? I was up outside
No, of course.
can happen, right? And it's awful. It was awful. I don't want bury that to happen to a team in my local community. They're important for everybody, not just whilst we can take the piss out of when it comes to match day when we play you. I want to beat Leeds, dirty Leeds. We've all got rivalries, but I hear what you're saying. You wouldn't have City taking over United. I understand what you're saying on that point. But I'm talking about the smaller clubs that will never, ever compete with us. Never. All right? There's got to be a bit of common sense coming. If let's say you went and put 20% ownership of Barnsley, all right? And you've been established in the Premier League for the next 10 years, which hopefully you will, right? Okay? And you started saying, right, we can send 2 or 3 of our youngsters to go and play for Barnsley for the season because they need developing and playing against men, not kids.
So what happens with the FA Cup?
Why not, mate? Right, okay. If you're a player playing for Barnsley and you get drawn against Leeds and you're one of their youth products, you're not telling me that won't be a shop window for them to do well. Right, I want to show you why I should be at Leeds next season.
I'm not saying that.
Because any guy would. So I'm sorry, if Leeds lose to Barnsley, that's their own fault.
Well, you're not letting me. If you let me speak a minute, I'll tell you what I mean. But Oscar just made a great point. If we get Barnsley away in the FA Cup, but we've got a 10-15% share in them, and we found half our teams out, where's the competitiveness in that game gone?
It's not be competitive, mate. It's still going to be.
Because, like you said, after Barnsley fans aren't going to go, yeah, we'll welcome Man City in here. That ain't going to happen.
Martin, there may be another solution. Right? Another solution. Another solution would be get rid of the parachute payment, give it to the championship and below, and then take 10% of the TV rights every year and give it to them.
But doesn't the parachute payment help the clubs that go down?
Yeah, but it's unfair, right? If Bournemouth have gone down now with £100 million, right, or whatever it is, right, and they're competing against Wigan or whatever it is right now, right? They have enough advantage, right? You get rid of the parachute payment, and everybody's going to be square.
I think we all agree though that there has to be some amount of money going to every single club outside the Premier League, right, this year to help them out, right? And we're not talking about a token gesture 50 million. It needs to be a lot more.
Correct.
All right, a lot more. I'm going to the comments because I think we could sit arguing about this all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like one chap you did called Jackie's right about Liverpool United trying to rig football. Colin Matt, Oscar's right. When we had no money in Division 1, would we have took money for another club? Great question. Each Premier League team put 10 million in a pot. Now that is something I'd be more up to thing with. The problem is, where's the longevity in that? There's no longevity in that as a one-off payment. I get what Alan's saying, and I see some merit in it. What then you're taking away, though, is the competitive format of football. You're taking away, like you just said, the tribalism.
Yeah.
Because if we help out, like you said, Macclesfield at the time, and we'd have gone, wait, we've got 15%. Well, who do Macclesfield want to win when we play them? Because technically they're playing the kind of beat. You know what I mean? You're taking away the whole, like Oscar said, the whole nature of football and why we're here. You know, we support a club because we support them.
Martin, one kickoff comments really good about player wages coming down, agents booted out. I mean, not agents, the player wages is driving this whole bubble, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that needs to be looked at because if they keep going on.
The situation with that is that we've seen what the reaction to the players about taking lower wages through this COVID period. They've all said no. You know, and I disagree with what's happened there. You know,
yeah, I like that. One chop your dick off and Chris, 5% each year, each of each player into a pot. Not just 1 year, every year.
It's a tax music.
Yeah, every year. Because then they've got that longevity of guaranteed money. It's not just like a little president. Oh, there you go. That helps you for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
That won't help them. That ain't going to help them. I do want to bring up something that is very... Sorry, I do want to bring this up. It was up there earlier on. And it was off One Chop Your Dick Off. And it was...
What a name.
The European Super League is coming, and this is going to be my leaving question, our outage question. It's inevitable, and City will support it. And Chris Baker did say exactly no way City are that naive.
Well, I disagree with Chris on this one, Martin, because it's in our interest. If ESL is being formed right now, it's in City's interest to get involved, because if not, we're going to be kicked by the side. We're going to get crumbs.
Sorry, I think that he meant on this one.
Okay.
That people will defend him and they'll stab us in the back, so I apologise. And Chris, where I don't agree with One Chip Your Dick Coffin is what I said earlier on. And listen, everyone's entitled to an opinion on this channel. What I don't want to do is, I don't want to turn round. I know he didn't want to chop your dick off. It was my fault. I read it wrong, so I do apologise to Chris. I don't want to say, well, yeah, we have to go and join a Super League when we've been moaning about not being part of a cartel in the European football, but then basically off we pop to a Super League to become a cartel.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So the
question moan about something for 2 years and then disappear and go and join one.
Martin, completely agree with you, right? So the question now is, if that is going to come up, the ESL is going to come up. Does City join or not? If you don't join, then everything you build is TFG, New York City, everything else goes down the toilet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Chris is going mad here. I do apologise. Right, my outage question to you all. I'm going to start with Oscar. No, in fact, I'm going to end with Oscar because he's our guest. And I want to end with him on this. So if you don't mind that, Oscar, I'm going to finish with you, buddy.
No worries, man. No worries.
Karl, European Super League. Will it happen in the next 10 years?
100%. 100%. It will happen. Because capital loves opportunity.
Okay.
I think it'll happen, but I don't want it to. No, I was thinking I don't want it to happen because I prefer the model as it is, right?
Yeah.
But do I think it will happen? Yeah, maybe. I think it may be. That's the way the businessmen wanted to go, and that's the owners of the clubs. Okay, I think But if you're asking me, do I want it to happen? No, because I'm about the English Premier League. I don't give a shit about Europe.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Oscar, I mean, I bet you can't believe this. I mean, I don't know about you. I've said this. I think I said this on. I've said it on our Arsenal channel. A lot of City fans don't give a monkeys about the Champions League. And it isn't because we don't win it. It's simply because we've been shafted that much by UEFA. And the way it is, and the way it's actually even done, it's a Champions League where you can have some farmer team from Estonia come and join it and call it a Champions League and finish 30 points behind and finish fourth and get put into a Champions League when you're not even the runner-up of your competition. Just smacks of bureaucracy completely for me.
It's cartel win only.
Yeah, but that's why, Oscar, you might be thinking, why are City fans balmy here not wanting to?
Do you not want to win it if you want just to stick two fingers up at UEFA just once kind of thing? Not even that kind of aspect.
Oscar, do you know what I'd like us to do? Is win it once, lift the trophy, then throw it 30 metres on the pitch and walk off.
See, Oscar, this is where the local fans and the global fans differ, right? I want to win the Champions League for the club for that very reason, right? Stick it up there, you know what?
I'd like to do it, then throw the medals in the pot and walk off.
Right.
I'd love that.
So we want to win it, but the local fans, I completely get it. That's why this love affair with City fans is growing every day. I get it now. Right? I understand the issues they've had. It still makes me love the club even more.
Yeah.
All right, going Oscar then. Super League. Is this where we're going?
I hope not. I agree with Alan. Agree with Karl. I hope not. But being honest, I'm not sure if it happens in the next 10 years. But I do think some form of Super League is going to start. Whether it's going to be at the expense of the Premier League or not, I don't know. But I think in the next 10 years or so, possibly sooner, we will start to see movement on it. Whether it will still... Because it's going to take a while. It's going to take time to happen. You know, you look at the Premier League when it formed in '92. That wasn't something that was just a 10-second job. That was David Dean, whoever Man United's chief. It was 5 clubs getting together on that. And that took a long time to put through. And look, in the end, you know, maybe you could argue the Premier League has been a success. And I think it has, really. But the European Super League, it's a totally different proposition. That's going to take a lot longer to put through. But it is in the big club's interest. So it is going to happen. It is going to happen. Let's be honest, it is going to happen. So, you know, I don't think it will be as soon as what we expect, but it's something that's not going to go away. No chance. You're not just going to give up on a potential. Something as big as that after one kind of rejection. It's not going to stop from that. And whether City join or don't join, I don't know. But I still think the other clubs, Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham as well. I can imagine Daniel Levy. It's probably very much with this new stadium, with how far, you know, how much he's involved in the NFL. Before I see that as another opportunity. Who knows? Chelsea, I think they may be more towards Man City, but I think there could be a split between Man City, Chelsea. I don't know about Arsenal. Might go one way. Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham might go another. It could happen. It's like Real Madrid and Barcelona. You know, they don't want to do the same thing. And I can see that happening with the other clubs as well. I don't think necessarily all the clubs will go along with it.
Yeah.
I think it might only be a certain few. And some might just stick to the principles. Again, it depends on the owner. It depends on the whole management of the club, the purpose of the football club. Because the purpose of Manchester City, in terms of the Sheikh Mansour and the Abu Dhabi Group, is totally different to the purpose of Manchester United and the Glazers, Liverpool, the SFG. So there's all different kind of agendas here, if you like. That's the thing to remember. You know, some people will be a bit more, okay, let's go for this. Let's get all the boys round up and, you know, let's go for this. Other teams will be like, let's lead them to that. Let's lead them to that. And that's what I think. I think from what you're saying, possibly Manchester City don't follow it. I don't know. It's but I do think it's going to come.
Yeah.
In some form.
I do.
I'm
going to go into some of your comments before we leave. Chris saying I'm being stitched up. You were, buddy. It's because of the way you are. Going to run down. They made a Super League. I'm sure it would get boring after like 2 seasons. Sounds good, but once it's done, it will get boring. Jamie says it's never happening. Champions League will be extended. Chris Baker says lose Carabao Cup games, ditch Community Shield is all to do with the big teams playing more lucrative games. European Super League. Kiam is on. Hello, buddy. How are you? How's Canada? Well, I just coughed, sorry. United and Liverpool are the true cheats, as we all suspected. They were all behind FFP. They're behind VAR, and now they want full power. Football is rigged. We need to start again and lead them to it. Blue Hearts, just like COVID, no one wants to die from it, but no one takes it seriously. Stop it. The nature, it's a bit blinky, a bit dark, that, isn't it, Blue Heart? It's the nature of humanity. Caring for others is seen as a weakness. Sorry to say, but it's a fact. David Solomon, Man City shouldn't be in agreement. I feel they will try and do us in with the invest. That's what I said. They'll just try and open investigation against us. United have cheated for years. Sachin saying, don't be. Mate, you're trying to take over a league that you have no right to take over, is the point here. Champs, how will be bigger? Premier League will be smaller. Ooh, that's a good one. Kiam, fans are going to walk away in their droves. Stadiums will be sold. Football will become a TV sport only with a subscription. They don't care about local fans. That's what you said. The Super League will get boring. Yeah, I've just done that one, sorry. Let's have a look. There has been the European League. We'll have when the sponsors TV revenue money talks. Jamie, let's be honest, the current proposal is never going through. There's no way a much diluted version will probably be accepted. You know, well, that's what you said. They are the testing the water. This is all they're doing. If they charge, great point this, if they're charging $14.95 to watch United versus Newcastle, imagine what they're going to charge a Man City versus Bayern. Absolutely spot on. Spot on. Why would we as supporters say we don't want to win the particular trophy in the hope of stopping the top players with our club competing in the top competitions? Right, and I think that's it, guys. I want to say a big thank you. I think this is just going to run on and on and on and on and on. You know, come back in a month, we'll have another debate on this because this isn't going away anytime soon. It really isn't. Go on, Karl.
Oscar, I want to say that I've been rooting for Leeds coming to the Premier League for 2 years. I'm a Bielsa fan, and the best game I've enjoyed in the past 6 months has been Leeds City last weekend or 2 weekends ago. That was a phenomenal game. And you guys keep it up, man. You'll be up there. I really enjoyed that game. Really great game between two great clubs.
Cheers, man. I mean, wow, that game. I mean, that second half. I mean, the second half was. I mean, it was just all just pure. That's what football's about. That second half, you know, two teams just playing attacking football, going hammer and tong, no sitting back, just playing just pure total football. Both teams, and it could have gone either way. A draw was the fair result, and wow, that's what football's all about for me. You know, those two games. You know, Pep Guardiola, Marcelo Bielsa is what football is about for me. You know, working class and making it available to everybody. That's what I think they represent, and that's what. For me, that's why I've always, you know, much preferred City to them lot down the road, or in London, should we say?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We don't like the scum, but we're united on that one.
But yeah, couldn't. What a way to finish. I want to thank Karl all the way from Washington. I want you to have a lovely day, buddy. Enjoy. Alan, thank you very much.
No problems, mate. Just before I go, thanks, Oscar. We are late Leeds scum. We are late Leeds scum. We are late Leeds scum.
I just want to say a big thank you to Oscar. You've been an absolute true gent for coming on, buddy. I've shut him up for the first time in an hour and a half. It's amazing. But yeah, no, Oscar, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. Thank you. If please you want to hear more from Oscar and the rest of the gang at All Leeds TV, I have put the description in, put their link in the description below. Go over and give their channel a watch and subscribe. Do great things over there. And we'll have you back on for the return leg, Oscar, no doubt.
Absolutely looking forward to it, guys. I'm looking forward because it's not going away.
No.
Welcome back, Oscar.
Let's go into a few goodbyes. To be honest, we should have buried Leeds and would have with a striker we might have done. You never know. Leeds are fun to watch. Brilliant team. Great show, guys. Thank you. No problem, but thank you, Andy Blue Moon. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Well said, Oscar. Football is the winner. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the stream, Blues. Anytime, guys. I think it's a debate, like I said, that's going to roll on and on and on and on and on. We're never going to know. But all I'm going to tell you is I'll be back probably Friday night with another FIFA stream.
Another defeat then. Another hammering.
Have a great evening. I'll be back Friday with a FIFA stream. Sunday, empty seat show with another guest. Who I'm going to remain anonymous for now, but you'll enjoy it. Have a lovely evening. Andy might be back tomorrow, we don't know. But guys, also, before I end, I want to say a big happy birthday to Tom on the channel. Go over and check out a video that went out a couple of hours ago. I want to thanks to Alan and to all the others who contributed on them and everyone for their birthday messages underneath. You're all superstars. Thank you so much. Big happy birthday to Tom. I hope he's had a great birthday. And he's probably awake in his bed now, watching us. probably isn't. He's probably doing something with his family, but never mind. But yeah, happy birthday, Tom. Hope you have a good one. I'm back on Friday with FIFA Live, Season 3, Episode 2. And I've made a signing. We have a new striker, Blues. Tune in on Friday and see who that is.
Have you signed Patrick Bamford?
No. Cost me 90 million quid. 90
Are you playing up front?
Ah,
Are you playing up front?
nope. Friday FIFA Live on Comedy Central.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Happy birthday, Tom, says Kiam. See you on Freaky Friday, Martin. Happy birthday, Tom. Colin Matt, thanks all. Have you still got that photo of me, Colin Matt? Still using it as a dartboard, mate? Great chat, lads. Yeah, you too, really, mate. Martin, I charge 35 quid an hour for FIFA lessons. Get lost, I don't need them. Have a great evening. Oscar, thank you again, buddy. Yeah, been a lovely one. Take care, and we'll see you all on Friday. Andy may be back tomorrow, we don't know. But make sure your notifications are public, not private, and then you'll know when we're live. But other than that, I'll see you on Friday for FIFA. Take care, and as always, the Blues.